from Jess and a solid 5 from Rob.
All right, this is it. So do we have some good cards to get into our big fusion plays to prevent the field of plants swarming and special summoning and link climbing and doing all kinds of combo plays that this deck has become notorious for, and set up our branded strategy. So Rob has proven to us before in the last feature that you've just seen how his mastery over this deck, and now it's time for Springgan Kit to come down.
Yeah, it's a very consistent card, Springgan's Kit. Again, it's just another one of those tools that Branded has so many different ways to get to its most powerful card, Branded Fusion. One thing to mention, like, Rob is playing 50 cards, and Jess is playing 60 cards. This is, like, absolutely insane. There are 110 cards in the main deck in the finals here.
Yeah, I mean, the more cards you play, the better. That's just how it is these days, you know? It's just more options for you. There's Branded Fusion coming down here. That was the only downside of Kit, I suppose, that you have to put a card back. So, you know, going a little bit minus in the hand advantage here, but let's see what Rob puts together.
As long as the card's not Branded Fusion, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
The crowd there, very excited to see Rob resolving this Branded Fusion. Hear a loud cheer.
Cheers when like a Branded Fusion gets the resolve. Seen it ashed a couple of times on stream this weekend. So let's see how this one plays out as we banish the Springgan Kit actually from the field with the Albion and the Albaz from the graveyard. And this is going to make a Lubellion. Keeping the Albion on the field is just a nice body to retain so that your Lubellion can contribute it to bring back from the graveyard, setting up your Lost. Discarding a Saronir here, which is really nice. Searched off of that Lubellion. That's going to be able to send the Retribution from the deck to the grave, and that's going to give us some follow-up. And yeah, things are going pretty well for Rob so far. No disruptions coming out of Jessica's hand as of yet. But we do know that she plays, I believe, a whole bunch of field-breaking abilities in her deck, like things like Droplet and stuff could be coming down pretty clutch when it gets to her turn. But for now, Rob is deliberating these plays and making sure every single action is perfect and every single play is exactly the way it needs to be in order to give himself the best chance with the cards given to him with this final, well, potentially the third last time we're drawing for this this tournament.
Yeah, one of the things about this deck super cool is that the interruptions are so kind of layered. Like, he's going to get the Branded Lost, so if he can Fusion Summon again, he's going to have a chance to add a Tri-Brigade Mercuria. So he's going to have cards coming from his hand to interrupt Jess. He's going to have cards from the field and cards from his graveyard. Like, just everything all coming in to attack. It makes it much more difficult to just have one clean answer like Droplets or like Dark Ruler no more. So Jess is really going to have to work to break through this.
Yeah, and I think that's why Branded works so well in this environment, at least when played optimally. The layering of those different types of disruptions are very reminiscent of something like another fusion deck like Tearlament, which allows you to use your back row, your hand, your graveyard, and your field. So as you said, there just isn't like a definitive kind of blowout card that sort of just auto-wins you the game in the same way that you can drop like a Dark Ruler against a typical combo deck and be kind of be done with it. Yeah.
Interesting play here from Rob. So he's using Mirror Jade to remove one of his own monsters just to get that effect to send Titaniclad to the graveyard, and then Quem to send Fallen of Albaz. So he wants to have a Quem in play, and then still during the end phase, we get to set Branded in red. So I'm interested, maybe he's going all in on resolving a Puppet Lock, or maybe he's got another trick up his sleeve, because once you use Mirror Jade, you're not allowed to use it again on the following turn. So he's not planning on using that Mirror Jade again, so he thinks it's more important to have the Quem in play right now.
Okay, let's see what this amounts to here. And Jess is now drawing her 6th card for turn, having used absolutely none on Rob's turn here. So a full plant field of special summons and things could come down as we begin with this Colosseum. Not the greatest card you want to see in your hand. Typically, you want to search that as part of your combo here, but Searching out the Regulus rather than Lily Borea as acting as an extender. Doesn't quite have the Grave set up just yet, but on resolution, it's time for Branded in red, targeting the Albaz, returning to the hand here. This is now the opportunity to go for a fusion summon.
Yeah, do you think he's waiting maybe so he can't be impermed? Or, I mean, why do you think he waits for Jess to play a card before doing this? You can do this all in the standby phase, right?
Yeah, you can. I couldn't really tell you. I just think that letting your opponent commit a little bit to the field is fine. I mean, you're not really at risk of them doing anything as of yet, right? I mean, there's no like crazy built-in special summons that you can drop immediately with Plant, so potentially just trying to see if they can commit any resources that you can take advantage of before going all in.
I mean, amazingly now, you can't respond to the effects of, well, you've got a little window where your opponent can't respond. Can respond now, but Jess doesn't have anything to respond with, so she's got to have something, because otherwise we're going to send a...
There it is, activating
puppet.
the effect of Granganol. Does Droplet work here?
Droplet
despite the loss?
Will work, yeah because...
Okay.
You won't be able to, like, so you've got this time now where your opponent can't respond, but this is not directly after the summon of a fusion monster.
Yeah.
But it still looks like, and the Mirror Jade.
There it is! Back. It hits the field. The Mirror Jade comes down onto the field of Rob from the Sanctifier, and then Gimmick Puppet onto the field of Jessica as she proceeds to set 2 cards. And, well... Not looking too pleased with this opening here.
Yeah, not the usual Plant opening field, is it? Set 2 pass?
Yeah, you don't really summon a machine to your field like this typically. Is it a machine?
I think it's a machine,
I think it's
a
machine, yeah. Although saying that, Regulus is a machine. All right, well, play passes back to Rob here, and, well, not really much to worry about. I mean, we know it's not a Droplet. Is there a world where it's an Imperm? I mean, I don't think Imperm could have been used against anything here because of the law. Well, I mean, you could. No, it's not possible.
Yeah, it's hard to see what would stop Rob from just activating Branded Fusion and just attacking with all of his monsters. He's got well over 8,000 damage. You're going to have to remind me how many defense points Gimmick Puppet has, but I don't think it's very many.
I mean, you could just reuse the Mirror Jade, right? Because it's once while in the field, so...
Yeah, if you're going to be, like, super careful, then you'd rather attack it, and then it's in the graveyard in case anything goes wrong, and then you can just summon it again.
Yeah, do it again. That's true. All right, summons out Lebellion here with the Branded Fusion.
Discarding a Branded Fusion, because he's got so many of them.
It's just overflowing in Branded Fusions. This is where the real choke point of the deck is. If you don't stop Branded Fusion, well, you know, the more the merrier. Here's the Branded Lost as well, activating.
Yeah, it's hard to see what Jess could have up her sleeve, but she's here for a reason, so you don't want to counter out just yet.
No, not at all. I mean, it's been rough to go second against any deck. Sometimes some more than others, specifically if they summon a Gimmick Puppet to your field, but no stranger to this scenario as a seasoned veteran of the game at this point. The reigning European champion here to try and take down the national championship is going to have to reverse sweep this one, as this is looking really grim right now. And we've got a Borreload Furious Dragon online as well. I guess that's how we're popping, as you mentioned. Ooh, I'm going to go for the back row, actually. Interesting.
I mean, I guess you might as well. It's not like the Gimmick Puppet is that scary.
Hard drawing Humid Winds and Disc Coliseum turn 1.
Shouldn't want to activate it and search.
See, that's the that's the problem, isn't it? Because you'd think like playing 60 cards, you know, water down the effects of drawing these engine pieces that are undesirable in your opening hand, but unlucky for Jess to get both Disc Coliseum and Humid Winds here.
Yeah, there's just so many of them. Is she... Oh, you can use the Disc
Coliseum. The Disc Coliseum battle phase effect. Yeah, we could dump Lily Borea. I believe it protects from... Oh, no, it's not great when someone picks up a card to read in this situation here.
I mean, there's still so much damage on the field. Like, you can just use...
Is it game through this?
Yeah, you can just use the Mirror Jade, right?
Do you protect it once, right?
Yeah.
So you've absorbed one attack here, and then we just have the rest of the monsters. And it does have to sacrifice that Gimmick Puppet, so if we end up in an emergency situation, we can't reuse the Gimmick Puppet lock again.
Is Jessica running like here. Super Poly or something silly? Like, there's so much going on.
I mean, if it ain't over until it's over, so and well, now it is over. There it is. Picks up the. Okay, here we are, and this is Jess's turn now to go first and attempt to repeat some of that combo tutorials that she showed you on the earlier part of the stream. Those of you who are interested, the YouTube channel is available for you to check out and see some of the action from before. 1 for 1, discarding Princess, by the way, which is massive since Princess being in the graveyard can actually be used to negate any hand traps at some point through this turn here. She brings out Lokai, and well, let's see what Lokai does after the limitations of Dryas and Healer.
Yeah, I think Jess knows exactly what it does after the limitations of Dryas and Healer. She's built her entire deck around these combos. We're going to be able to use much more of the Arrow Mages and these new Ragnarika cards that have been released recently, allowing you to summon a bunch more plants than you were able to before, kind of making up for the lack of Sunseed Genus, well, not Sunseed Genus Loci, Dryas in the extra deck.
Yeah, so we got the chain here being formed on the resolution of the Sunvine Sowing, bringing out the Healer from the extra deck into the Dryas zone pointing downwards. Twin resolves to revive back the Loci from the graveyard, creating more bodies and giving you your access to arguably the heart and soul of the deck is Jasmine now, the incredibly powerful Link 2 monster that just summons any plant from your deck by tributing a monster that it points to here. And that's going to special summon out Laurel. Laurel is an Arrow Mage, Arrow Seraphy, that one. Yeah, anyway, goes to the graveyard when linked away, triggers to gain life points, and then when you gain life points, Jasmine then gets allows you to add any plant monster from your deck to your hand.
Yeah, this card's crazy. It's almost like reminding me of what Isolde did for Warriors. This is doing for plants. You get one summon from the deck, one add to the hand. But even more crazy than Isolde is the fact that you can use some of these effects multiple times per turn.
Yeah, that's the thing. The tribute effect of Jasmine, I believe, is once per turn, but the effect to gain life points and add a card is once per copy. So, yeah, this combo does, in fact, go through multiple Jasmines in order to get multiple searches of plants from your deck here. And one of those searches, I think, was the Ragnarika Evil Seed, as well as Lilyboria, into the zone of the Jasmine here. Special summon it onto the field by attaching a plant, send a plant that's equipped to it to then add the Disc Colosseum. Disc Colosseum can then activate to add Regulus. And now we make the new Aroma Link monster.
And the second most powerful one after Jasmine, obviously. To add Aroma Blend from the deck to the hand. This can let you put a Humid Winds face up on the field just at the price of discarding one card.
And most important of all is further insulations from disruption here from the hand. We don't expect too much from Rob, as we've seen from his deck list throughout the course of this tournament. He is running and opting to play things like Thrust, Talents, Evenly, and Droplet, which is the whole point of the Regulus down here, which is going to be able to negate a card effect, not activation. So if she does side in this Rose Whip, negating the effect of a spell and trap means that you're essentially locked out of using any for the rest of the turn. So that's a very powerful play here. And I think the only way to really beat something like that would be Droplet on Rob's side. So we'll see if he's drawn it. Let's focus on Jess's turn here as she continues with these new Aroma plays.
Yeah, we were mentioning whether she had any answers to Evenly Match, and I guess we both forgot that Regulus is a perfectly good answer to Evenly Match. So I guess Rob's just got to draw two in his 50-card deck.
Well, it doesn't matter because it negates the effect, right?
No, if you have a Rose Whip and yeah, you're right, Rose Whip and Regulus.
No, but Regulus negates effect.
Yeah.
And if you have a second Evenly, it's once per turn, right?
No.
Is Evenly once per turn?
I don't think so.
Isn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Oh, okay.
You've never had one of your friends tell you that, I had my Sprite Carrot and they activated Evenly and I negated it and then they did it again?
Need more friends, apparently. All right, we're linking up into the new Ragnarika here, and then going further beyond with a second copy of Jasmine here. And banishing the Sunseed Twin plus a Link monster to then bring back the first Jasmine we made here, activating the trap card, Humid Winds, I believe, to gain life. And now this is going to trigger both Jasmines again to get more plant searches from the deck here.
Yeah, this is like just ridiculous. So I think she said she uses it 5 times.
In one turn, yeah?
Yeah, to add 5 plants. Like, that's a lot of adds.
We're doing a lot of gardening today, yeah. Okay, so Lone Fire Blossom is also on the field as well. That's going to be able to trigger any kind of plant from your deck here. I assume at some point there will be crossover into the Rika portion of the deck as we get that all-important Con as well. But first of all, here comes Malayas. That's going to be able to revive Lokai from the graveyard, and then that gives you just more fuel for your combo. And most important Link monster that we go into. Okay, here's the searched out Rika portion of the deck here, as we have 2 level 4s in the shape of is that Snow?
Yeah,
is it Snowdrop actually?
Yeah,
okay, so we have the
Snowdrop
Snowdrop as the level 8. Manipulating the levels here. I think this is where we overlay into Strenna.
Yeah, now we've got 2 4s. Absolutely obscene thing to do is to, tribute a Strenna for a Lone Fire Blossom, which is what we're about to see here, to get out a copy of Hypertrion while summoning any plant from your deck, which, if she's staying true to the combo that she showed me yesterday, she'd get out a copy of Mudan, which will then get you into Con and even more Rika shenanigans.
Yeah, Con tributes your opponent's monsters for cost when you try and use the monster negate in Princess from the graveyard, or the stealing of the trap card effect of Rika Sheet. So again, it's multiple layers of disruption that is done by plants. Taking cards, negating cards, bouncing cards with Bengal Lancer, negating effects, negating monster effects with the Queen, the rank 8 monster. There's not a lot of cards that beat this field going second. It's gonna take quite a deep draw from Rob to find something to answer this full combo. He is patiently sitting through and waiting for his turn.
I mean, you say not a lot of cards. I'd say not a lot of hands.
Yeah,
if you could pick 6 cards, as long as you're not allowed to pick Exodia, it would be very difficult to beat this field with almost any 6 cards.
That's so funny that she's detaching the Lone Fire Blossom and then adding it back, because I think we haven't used our normal summon, right? We used 1 for 1. We started with 1 for 1, right?
I can't remember if 1 for 1. Yeah. I don't know if the normal summon's been used. You are right. We started with 1 for 1.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good board. This is a pretty strong board here.
It'll do.
Oh, all right. So I think this is a second Strenna?
Yeah, Strenna number 2, yeah. Bengal Lancer, Con, which then equips the Disc Colosseum to the Hypertrion, Set Street, and I think that's a day. But we haven't even seen the Ragnarika card, so maybe I'm missing
but wait,
something.
There's more? No?
There's always more.
Yeah, here's that Con. Hypertrion gets to attach from the graveyard. So Hypertrion, for those of you unaware, it's a negate for the type of card detached from it. So if you detach a spell, you can negate a spell. If you detach a monster, you can negate a monster. So again, just lots of different options available to you here.
We also have Blend to Fusion Summon Magnolia. Just from your grave, because why not?
Yeah, that's really incredible as we use the Miracle Fusion style effect here.
Yeah, make your plants. It's like Miracle Fusion, but it activates from the grave after having done something else. It's absolutely crazy.
Truly fantastic. That's very reasonable. Yeah. Let's see what Magnolia does here, because it is an important key part of disruption. So while your life is higher than your opponent's, plants can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And once per turn, you can pay 2,000 as cost and banish cards on the field equal to the number of Humid, Dried, and Blessed Winds you control, so probably just 1. So just banish 1 non-targeting, right? And once per...
Oh, and she got the Rose Whip as well.
Nice! What did I tell you?
Absolutely insane. The crowd really enjoyed that. So just the cherry on top to this whole field is the Rose Whip and Sheet.
Well,
challenge accepted.
Yeah, he just nodded his head like, okay, challenge accepted. All right, so we have to win this game by only activating 1 spell and trap, which the 1 spell and trap can just be negated. And then we have to play through a monster or spell negate, a tribute for cost and steal, or a tribute and steal that then floats into a monster negate. The Link 4 Bengal Lancer, which bounces a card. And the banish effect of the Magnolia, and the negate of the Princess in the graveyard. Have I missed anything?
You have, because there's the sheet, and the sheet can tribute the Strenna. And
I
the
did say that.
Yeah, well, you tribute the Strenna, so you get another...
Yeah, it's flown to the teardrop.
Yeah, flown to the... Oh, maybe you said that, okay.
All right, well, much to fight through here as we send Albaz to the graveyard. Okay, good start, Aliber.
We're trying.
Yeah, let's. Is it time to put Tactics or Thrust online potentially? Do we use a Hyperion? Do we hold? No, we let it resolve. Okay.
I mean, if we're gonna do anything, I feel like Droplets has got to be involved somehow.
Does Regulus negate Branded Fusion if Lost is up? Does it negate the effect?
Yeah, it just negates effects. Yeah.
Okay. Oof, I mean, you can't even do that, right? Because of Rose Whip. So it does search Branded Lost though, actually.
Yeah, so it has to be Droplets. That's the only card I can think of.
Yeah, I mean,
does anything?
The only spell and trap you can remember. Naturia Rose Whip is just it's okay. There it is. This is huge. So this is your one and only spell and trap for the turn. So you have to use it on the Naturia Rose Whip because you can only use one spell and trap for the turn with Rose Whip here. So we have to go Droplet. We have to send a monster. Otherwise, we'll just be negated by Harpetrion or the Regulus. And we are sending 3 cards, it looks like.
I mean, there's so many things you have to hit, right? You almost have to hit the Regulus, you have to hit the Rose Whip, you have to hit the Hypertrion.
Is there anything you can do to, like, play... So, you can, like, chain a trap and then target the Droplet with, like, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, for example. I don't think there's anything you can do similarly here, as there's no traps chained. You could use Sheet, but there's nothing to take, so... Yeah, okay, Rose Whip, Regulus, Magnolia, and Hyperion. Okay, all right, that's 4 negates. And now it's time for Branded Lost.
Fusion and a Dream.
Yeah, so we still have online the Con tribute for cost. There's the Branded Fusion.
Yeah, Jess has got to be careful here because there's now going to be a chain of fusion summons almost, and she isn't allowed to respond to any of it.
It's actually ridiculous because the summoning window of a fusion monster cannot be interacted with your opponent when it hits the field. So any quick effects activated like Albion or Lobelion, Granganol, whatever you want to fusion summon, even not just off of the Branded Fusion, later in the turn as well, when a fusion monster is summoned, you can't interact. So Jess does need to be cognizant of Lost here. And make sure to play around that as Albion hits the field here. On summon, Albion does get to immediately trigger. Still can't respond. Chainlink to Branded Lost will get a Mercurier. So Mercurier can now check the... well, you can't check the Hyperion. Well, I mean, you don't need to. That's negated. So it's just Bengal Lancer and Sheet and Con. And Princess. That's online still. So after dropleting for 4 cards, we still have 3 disruptions.
Yeah, and only 1.
Is there anything else I'm missing? Is there more? There has to be more, surely. No? We're good? Okay.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, so like Princess can tribute your opponent's monster, or you can choose to tribute Strenna with the Princess to then bring out Teardrop. Then Teardrop can negate a further monster effect, but your graveyard is well protected here. Branded doesn't have a way to interact with that Princess. Or really that Sheet without going too deep into some commitments here. Okay, wait. The duelists have now come down to these last 2. And this is the last and final opening hands of this tournament. Who will be the national champion of the UK? Let's find out.
Yeah, we could hear the crowd like yelling their support for Rob, which is really great to like have a loud crowd. Like it really adds to the atmosphere, doesn't it?
Oh, they are so unaware that they're probably distracting him more than anything. Branded lines need a little bit of concentration, but it's still encouraging to hear here. Let's see if Rob can focus up here and get a Gimmick Puppet onto the field.
This is like really powerful opening hand right here. So nice to get that fusion deployment online before summoning Aliber, because that way your Aliber is protected from any interruptions like Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler. I'm not sure Jess sort of bothers herself with such trivial effect negations, but, you know, even so, Nice to have that extra engine going on.
Oh no, we don't need any such nonsense as Valor and Ash Blossom. These cards have been power crept by Arrow Mage Rosalina and Ragnarika Evil Seed, so none of which will help us, unfortunately, against the Gimmick Puppet. So I'm betting it's just called by or droplet, right? Is the plan here? See if Rob can maybe set up ways to circumvent them. Here's Branded Fusion. And there's just a roar of the crowd every single time this card resolves. It's like a momentous occasion when it doesn't get ashed.
Yeah, I mean, Jess, in her main deck at least, there's only one Ash Blossom out of 60 cards, so you gotta be really hoping to find it in your opening 5.
Oh, does she play one Ash? Oh, is that just a cross-out target? That's so funny. Imagine she drew the one Ash in 60 versus that would be something. All right, here's Albion. We still got Cartesia on the field as well. Lubellion comes down. Somewhat standard to last game 1 here. Ooh, pitching Retribution is quite nice.
I mean, she knows from just what she can see that Rob has the ability, if he wants to go and try and set up this puppet lock. So unless she's got something in her hand, she's got to be a bit worried. Yeah,
that's the thing, right? Like it's so simple to get to the Gimmick Puppet lock. You know, admittedly, it is a little bit different when you have to play against that maybe aren't so trivialized by the Gimmick Puppet, like his last duel versus Labyrinth. But this is a very, very different deck to that. So we'll see if Jess has drawn those really important outs. As we go for the Granganol now, fusing with the Cartesia. And triggering the chains here, 1 and 2. Lost going to get a further search.
Yeah, I mean, all of this as well, like even if you can do something about the puppet lock, you're still going to have to face down all of the other interruptions, all of the big bodies that Branded has, a bunch of follow-up for next turn. This is a really powerful start for Rob.
Hey! Look who it is.
There it is, making an appearance.
All right, we've got Albion the Shrouded Dragon being added, it looks like. Instead of the Mercurier, probably trying to interact with this Retribution we discarded off of the Libellion, I assume.
Yeah. Such a crazy card, Gimmick Puppet, isn't it? It's so creative. It's like, you know, you look at a card and you think, wow, okay, this locks me into playing Gimmick Puppet. I'll leave that in my binder. And then someone's like, wait a second, what if I lock my opponent?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe conversely, I think what the problem is that not enough people are playing Gimmick Puppet. That seems to be really the issue, because if you think about it, if you're playing Gimmick Puppet, that's actually fine if they give you this.
Yeah, it's like just a free monster, so thank you. Thank you, mate.
I don't know. It's something to discuss for the main event anyway, so let's stick to that. We've got the Granganol, the Mirror Jade here, and Lost, of course, is still face up. That's going to be able to cause non-interactions for Jess's turn.
Yeah,
when he performs more fusion summons.
It's going to be really tricky, because if Rob can fusion summon with Branded in red at the beginning of the turn, there's almost like no way to respond to it, right? Because you can just use the Sanctifier on its summon, and then you can't even respond. So the puppet is going to hit the field no matter what, unless Jess has got like a Bestial in her hand or something, or a Caught by the Grave. That's the only thing I can think of that would stop this.
Yeah, it's rough. Well, here comes the end phase now. The graveyard effects are going to be resolving here as we... is that a Branded in red, I want to say?
Looks like a Branded opening. I think Branded in red, maybe Branded in red's face down in that
Search
case.
to the hand there, and yeah, resolving all these effects. And using the Branded opening still in the end phase, actually. Okay, discarding a Cartesia. Special summoning from the deck here.
Yeah, he seems to like ending on this Guiding Quem where possible.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to be thinking that's a Branded in red face down. And then, yeah, I mean, maybe he could have had the Branded Retribution up as well. That would have been absolutely crazy.
She's looking pretty glum, I feel.
Well, maybe she's got a good poker face.
yeah, there's a good chance of that. Yeah, I don't think anyone hasn't been fallen victim to the Gimmick Puppet. So let's see. Draw for turn. Is it time? Are we going to fire it off immediately, or are we going to hold for a moment?
Last time he just waited until Jess played a card.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. There's probably a reason for it.
I mean, probably just some sort of interactions with Imperm you're trying to prevent. So, I don't know, you think a Night Beam would work here? Well, it doesn't look like it. We're just going to use the Brandon Red immediately. Oh, reading Brandon Red to double-check some of the activation requirements here.
Does she have that Called by the Grave? That's the only real thing you could play right now, because otherwise
Okay.
she can't respond anymore.
Banishing the materials, Brandon Red comes down. Sanctifier Dragon. And on summon Sanctifier Dragon in the Lost Window as well, alongside the Guiding Quem, all triggering their effects. Trigger 1, Trigger 2, and Quick Effect 3 on the chain links here for Sanctifier, targeting the Gimmick Puppet.
Crowd getting very excited to see this Gimmick Puppet hit the field. Rob taking his time.
I think they're about to do a Mexican wave out there. Here's the Gimmick Puppet, does a resolve. It hits the field! And there's no way to interact on Jess's part here.
Crowd fully behind Rob.
That is, that's what you want to see if you're Rob right now. They're cheering out there.
Like, who would win, 100 negates from Jess or 1 Gimmick Puppet from Rob?
He's literally like, what would win? Oh man, it's something. Yeah, I mean, sometimes these duels can feel a little bit down to who gets to go first and establish their combo, whether it's 10 disruptions or 1 negate, 1 prevention of summoning. Dark Ruler no more that's a
I
card.
mean, yeah, you just kind of look at it and say, okay,
Yep.
like it
Sure,
stop
that's
Gimmick
fine.
Puppet. Yep.
You know, can we Dark Ruler our own monster? Is that a thing? The funny thing is it's lingering. That's the issue. Thrust. Try and survive with something? Does it prevent normal summons as well?
No, just special summons.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you could get talents and crash some monsters just to clear them away.
Just to remove. Does it even matter? Because like we can just re-establish the lock potentially.
Yeah, it's hard to see what's in her deck that could make a difference here.
I mean, the fact that she isn't just like immediately picking something shows that it's looking a little doomed here, because she's thinking, you know, like, okay, what are my options? Can't quite make out what that is. It's a spell, so no evenly. Well, I mean, it wouldn't really help here anyway, but yeah, it is a spell she picks up here. Oh boy, this is it's a tough situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really know what there is. I mean,
Okay,
Rob's
activating the effect of Mirror Jade on Resolution, even though it's negated by Dark Ruler, we get the Rindbrum in the graveyard. Rindbrum can then banish to, I believe, revive Albaz.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's prompted him to do this now. I mean, it's something he can do.
She must have added something. We just couldn't quite make out what it was. All right, Albaz being...
But surely you don't fuse away.
The Gimmick Puppet?
Yeah, like... Is this the end phase, perhaps?
Yeah, good point. It might be. All right, activating the effect of Lubellion, discarding Allure of Darkness.
It's got to be the end phase, right? You don't just remove the Gimmick Puppet from your opponent's field.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're making yourself susceptible to a lot of different cards in that scenario. Yeah.
You just got to make sure not to get nibbed.
Oh boy. All right. It's writing might be on the wall here for Jessica, unfortunately. But all things considered, Rob's put in a lot of time and effort and work into this, so it is. Oh, okay. Was it end of main? Maybe I think is Rindbrum end of main phase. Is that why?
No, it's... I mean, everything's a quick effect, I think.
Okay, so I guess we just summon...
Battle? Does Battle search a monster, or does it search... can it search Concon?
Looks like it's searching Princess here.
Princess at least is a little negate that you've set up, but without Concon...
Nope, scoops it up.
that's the
GG,
game.
there it is.